Welcome to the Family Office, planning for the people who matter most.
To keep it off, man. So in 2026, right now, we're halfway through the first month. This is the time when people start, leaving their diets. They were gung-ho at the gym because they made their New Year's resolution. And now it's week 3 and now they're hungry and tired and they're ready just to move on and go back to business as usual. What were your decisions that you made in 2026 and what's allowed you to stay consistent with the way in which you've changed your lifestyle over all these years?
So I think one of the biggest hacks that I have found just in my life is that you have to create habits in your life that become lifestyle. They become part of your lifestyle. Right? You can't just be on a diet. You can't just be on an exercise program or be on a gym program. You actually have to create changes in your lifestyle. It has to become part of you. And, when people say, oh my, I started on a health journey. I'm 44 right now. And I started on a health journey it was 2017 is when I started, beginning of 2017. I looked at myself in the mirror. I was doing very good in business. I was crushing it. And I just looked at myself and I said, who are you right now? Like, who are you? Because you just saw it. It was like, right? And I started to get very in tune with nutrition and physiology. And I'm 44 and I take no pills. And, just as a matter of exercise, Len, since you talked about it, right? Mm-hmm. It's actually going out there and doing the right things and creating lifestyle. Now, here's the biggest thing where most people lose sight of this, I think. Mm-hmm. Okay. And that is that they try to do all of this stuff, right? Like, I got to get on a Mediterranean diet. I got to get on a low carb diet. And they try to go too extreme. Mm-hmm. And what you got to figure out is what works for you. So for me, 100%. I don't like going to the gym. I don't. Mm-hmm. I get no motivation. It's not motivating for me. And by the way, I'm one of those people who can push through without motivation. I'm very disciplined, but I don't like it. But what does motivate me about going to the gym is I like the sauna. I like the wet sauna. I like the hot sauna, and I like the stationary bike. So for me, I go to the gym to get on the stationary bike, go to the rowing machine, and then I go to the hot sauna and the wet sauna. That's it. That's all I use the sauna for, or I all use the gym for. I don't go there to lift weights. I don't go there to do any of that stuff. None of it. Now that works for me. So now I love going to the gym. I like going to the gym just because I enjoy it. Because I've made it part of my lifestyle, right? But I also didn't take all of the things I hate about the gym. I only took the things I liked about the gym. That's it. And additionally to that, I do that with exercise routines. So, you can go online, you can see this guy that gives all these routines, or these gals that give all these routines. I just study them and I do them, and then I keep doing the ones I like that are fun for me, or areas that I like. So it's about finding things that you enjoy and making them part of your lifestyle, right? That's what's key. So that, like, some people, how do you do 150 push-ups a day? I don't do them all at one time. I do 150 push-ups throughout the day. I do some in the morning. I do some at night. I do some in the afternoon. Usually for me is I don't eat, until a certain time of the day. I time restrict. I intermittent fast. So as soon as I eat, or as soon as I get up in the morning and I get out of bed, I do my first set of exercises. Through the midday, or after I eat my first meal, I do my second set of exercises, which is usually my biggest meal. And then at the end of the day, before I go to bed, I do my last set. And that's how. And I've incorporated that. Just like you gave me a video the other day. And it was like, don't eat, I completely changed my eating windows now, where I eat eat earlier in the day, and I eat, which means I stop eating less in the day. So for me, one of the biggest things, Len, has just been making things part of your lifestyle instead of just trying to join a gym or a club. Like, join something or be part of something that's going to change your lifestyle, the way you operate on a day-to-day basis, not just something you add. So many people are obsessed with adding to your life. Take stuff away and get back to baseline neutral zero, the way you were when you came out of your mama's womb.
Yes, I like that. I would say for me,
you, sir,
there's a lot of different things, and I can definitely piggyback and restate everything you said. But like for me, I don't like going to the gym. I did it for 2 years and I hated it. And because I was older and I have a torn labrum and things like that, it's just, I felt pain all the time, and my nerves and my back. So I'm sure that a gym bro that watches this would say, "Oh, well, you're doing your exercises wrong and stuff like that." Well, I'll listen to you when you're telling me that at 60, and I agree that for some people, going to the gym is the right thing to do. It's the great because they like it. And so all I'm going to do is reiterate what Chris is saying. If you like going to the gym, that's awesome. Do that. That's great. For me, I like to walk and I like to hike. So like today, this is how many steps I've taken so far.
Wow.
Right?
21,866. Holy moly. That's a lot.
Yesterday was my rest day. But then the day before, I'll go to the day on Friday. I took that many steps, 21,000.
Dang.
Yeah, I mean, like it's on average. I'm taking.
What's your daily average? What's your daily average for the year so far?
Okay, my daily average for the year is 19,200
a day.
Yeah.
Bro, I walk a lot and I'm not even close to that.
but what I do is I habit stack like you talked about. So what I'll do is I'll go as I'm walking, I'm checking my email. I'm making my phone calls. Like all of our conversations on the phone, where am I? I'm walking. Every podcast prep conversation we have, almost without any exception, is I'm out walking. I do my business calls while I'm out walking. I check my emails while I do that. So I habit stack because I have my phone with me. I can do virtually anything unless I'm putting together a project. And so a couple of things that I've done. So what I did is I stopped eating 4 hours before bed, so that's a new decision that I decided that I'm going to stick with. Because what I would do is I do intermittent fasting as well. My window is typically 12 to about 8. Okay. But I typically go to sleep at around 10. So what I recognize is, after I was doing some more research and learning, I need to make sure that I don't put any food in my system 4 hours before bed, because at nighttime we become more insulin resistant. And because, our circadian rhythm starts to kick in and our body starts to metabolize differently at nighttime, I had to take that into account. So I stopped that 2026. I wasn't doing that before. And then the other thing that I did is I started improving my food selection to increase the mass of food that I eat, but also at the same time, decrease my hunger. So for example, before what I would do is, I would eat spaghetti in a way where I have mostly protein, but I would still put a little pasta in it. So now what I do is I'll take zucchini and I'll make that my pasta. So then I can eat as much of that as I want. So after the meal, I'm not hungry anymore. Right. And so I do lots of eggs. But then I've decreased the amount of cheese that I put in. So I can still have the mass, because cheese doesn't really add extra mass, but it does add extra calories. But with the extra eggs, and I put more meat in it now I decrease or increase my satiety. And so the other thing that I started doing as of 2026 is now I make it a point to walk 10 to 15 minutes after every meal. So in addition to my walks in the morning, I usually get that out of the way by 8:00. Now, after every meal that I eat, whether it's I take a walk, because I want to, increase my body's ability to be insulin efficient and to burn calories the right way and metabolize my food. And then when I was on my weight loss journey, one of the things that I would do is I would have one cheat day so that I wouldn't fall off the wagon. So now that I've hit my weight loss goal, now I incorporate 2 cheat days. So I'll do a cheat day, like for example, today's my birthday. And so because of that, man, I have a little thing where I can go. So I'm going to Starbucks. I'm going to Krispy Kreme. I'm going to Buffalo Wild Wings, and I'm just getting all the freebies, man. I'm going around and getting the freebies just because I can.
You're making the rounds today, baby. You're making the rounds.
Absolutely. Exactly. And so today, I'm going to live it up, but I planned it. So, the other days that I walked a little bit extra, I restricted a little bit more. So then I don't wake up tomorrow feeling guilty for splurging. And now I don't feel this, because what happens is a lot of times the reason why people fall off the wagon, Chris, is because they start to calorie restrict, and it works. But the problem is that the hunger hormone called ghrelin becomes way more powerful than willpower. It's just a matter of time, because what happens is once people hit their goals, then they go back to the old eating habits. And now, I'm back as heavy as I was, or more heavy, because I just, didn't keep the discipline. And then the last thing that I do is that on my non-cheat days, what I do is I eat my very last carb by 2:00. So like, let's say, for example, I decide to have an apple or a banana or some type of fruit. Because a lot of times people on keto, they don't eat fruit. And I don't agree with that, because you've got to get your macronutrients in, and you've got to make sure that you're feeding your body the right things. It's not just about losing weight and keeping it off and being in a state of ketosis. It's also about getting the right macronutrients. So when I combine the walking and then the walking after the meals on my non-cheat days, I'm done eating carbs by 2. So I've got the rest of the time to go from 2:00 all the way to noon on the next day. So I go 22 hours a day without carbs, if you think about it, because even though I have my last meal at 6, I'm not eating another carbohydrate until noon the following day. So those are things that I've been incorporating as of 2026, on top of just the overall general idea of high protein, overall low carbs.
And that makes sense for you, because in a sense, you're saying you're restricting total carbohydrate intake for a certain amount of time, where my approach is totally different on carbohydrate intake, where I'm just low carbohydrate intake all the time. Mm-hmm. I try to stay under 50 a day. Most days I'm at 20. Okay. And on good days where I feel really good, and I feel like, I know the days where I'm like, damn, I'm only at like 10 to 15 today. You feel it. You're like, you feel really good. So yeah, no, I think, and a lot of what I'm hearing too, and I'm listening to you, Len, is just like, you're incorporating these things. Like I said, the biggest thing for me was just lifestyle, like lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Another big thing for me that I've started doing and really getting serious about for me in 2026 is stretches. Just understanding stretches, like squats. I've got it now to the point where I could do a resting squat fully with my feet fully flat on the ground. I don't know if you know, and it's the natural human resting position where you're in a squat without your feet are like this. Yes. And I'm sitting here talking to you like this, back up. And I'll tell you, it took me about 60 days to retrain my back muscles, my hip muscles, my hips, right? To be able to open and position. Now I can sit and carry a conversation, eat a meal with you without my hands being up like this in a resting squat. So stretches have absolutely been a massive thing that I've incorporated in the first 19 days. I started doing it at the end of last year, but I really made a commitment to this year. Stretches have been absolutely insanely crazy. I never ever thought like, you have some back pain every now and then if you lay down too long or whatever. I have no back pain. Why? Because hamstring stretches get rid of back pain. Hamstring stretches. It's like crazy. You're like, oh, I'm good. I stretch my hamstring. I'm like, oh my God, man, this hurts, right? So stretches has been a big thing for me. And then also is understanding for me for 2026 is becoming more emotionally intelligent. So I'm doing a lot of research and a lot of introspective analysis for myself is just becoming more emotionally intelligent. So I'm reading a lot on emotional intelligence right now. And then also for me, another big productive change for me is was reinventing yourself again, going back and taking away some things that you didn't like, that you developed last year, and cleaning kind of the trash out, and then taking some things that you liked from last year and adding to those and inventing yourself in a new way again. Right?
I like that.
And going in there and being deliberate about it, being deliberate about going and taking out the trash, right? Because we rely so much on our bodies to take out the trash for us that we don't even know what they're doing for us. So be responsible about taking the trash out up here, you know, and in your daily lives and your function. And
I like that. One of the things that I do, just to piggyback on that point about just doing an analysis, what I do every year is on December 31st, I'll take a letter and I'll write it to myself and I'll seal it. And then what I do is from the previous year, after I've written the letter, I go to that one and unseal it. And the things that I write about is what's important to me, what's on my mind, what keeps me up at night, and what improvements do I want to make, both personally and spiritually and business wise and physically. And so then I go and reflect and say, oh, you know, cause I don't want last year's letter to influence this year, because, you know, my mind might be in a completely different place. And then I go read and I'm like, oh yeah, that was important to me. Oh yeah. Okay. Check mark on that. Got that one. Ooh, I need to refocus on that one. So it's a really cool exercise, because I enjoy going back and looking at the letters, you know, because I used to journal regularly. I would say I do that a whole lot less than I used to, but that letter really is something that works well for me.
I used to do letters, and I stopped doing letters in 2016. And I started doing videos. And what I mean by that is I just do a selfie video of myself. And I do it at the end of the year, but or not at the end of the year, I do it at the beginning of the year. But it's like the end of the year. It's like usually around the first or the second. And I'll do kind of that exercise, what you're saying. But I will always do it when I'm making big decisions throughout the year. And I remember I did it one time when I decided to make a shift from one philosophy in business to another philosophy in business. And this is 2016 when I fully sold out to it, and I made a video of myself doing it. And I always like to go back. And I think it's important. I'm glad you brought that up, because I wasn't even thinking about it, because I've been doing it for so long, is that you forget where you were and what you were going through and what was on your mind and what was shaping you and influencing and where your life was at a lot of given times in your life. And you just keep laying day to day that you can forget, right? You can forget like where you were at and what you were thinking, what you were doing, what your goals were, just simply because you just get tied down with the day to day. It's so key. And I'm glad you brought that up, because you do need to sit and have time to reflect. It's not a secret as to why men in the past had rooms in their houses or their castles called studies, right? And I never understood that. And that's, men need to study. Men need to go away from the noise of everything, even their wives and their children, and they need to go study, because it's their job to go to war every day, so to speak, right? Theatrically speaking, satirically speaking, because you do, men, if you're in a traditional sense and you believe in the traditional sense of household, which you and I are proponents of that. I'm not into the 50-50 culture. What do you bring to the table? What do I bring to the table? Any of that stuff. I think men and women, both have their roles in the house, and they should both take those roles in a house if you decide to live that way. If you don't, whatever works for you, right? If that doesn't work for you,
I don't judge you, you don't judge me, right?
I don't judge you, right? Again, but traditionally, when you look at people, when they have traditional science and chemistry and psychological backed rules and principles, which is men do certain things and women do certain things, and they're happy when they complement like that. If you're living in that sense, traditionally, when men are doing the men roles that biologically, physiologically, psychologically they are geared towards, and women are doing the exact same, and you come together in unison, you can't argue the data statistically always shows those types of people are most successful, most happy, most triumphant, most whatever in life. That works for me. It does. It works for me. Right. And I understand that role. So I think that men need to do that. Just like, women have their own men have their own, and men forget about that. And it could be just like as simple as this. And, people will probably watch this and they go, oh my God, Chris is so crazy all the time. And he must have high blood pressure, but this was just down. I was doing the podcast, Len, 107, 62, 69. See? So 107 over 62, 69. Gentlemen, your top number should not be 120. It should be in the teens. Preferably, I like mine in the non-double digits on the second number.
But you're talking and you're engaged, so of course your blood pressure is going to be a little higher. I have a question for you. So let's wrap up with a different way. We didn't talk about this, but I'm really interested to hear yours, and I'll say mine first. So what, as it relates to diet, do you still struggle with from time to time? Because one of the things that I really want to do is I want to be authentic. And, sometimes there's areas in our lives that maybe, we don't have it always buttoned up all the time. Yeah. And so I would say for me, it's one of the things that I have intended to do in the past that I haven't done well is curate my environment as it relates to food. So what I mean by that is if you go and look at my pantry, there's still, processed foods in there. Cause, there's other people in my family, there's, every now and then somebody will buy sweets and bring it into the house, and I'm going to eat it when I see it. And so I haven't yet built up that strength where, like I say, I have 2 cheat days, but if there's something that's particularly good and it's a non-cheat day and I know it'll be gone within the next day or two, I'm going to eat it. And so I definitely struggle with that. Is there any area diet wise, that you struggle with from time to time?
Absolutely. I absolutely love fried carbs and sweets. I want to go eat I just want to go eat cheese fries right now. Like I just want to eat nasty cheese, or I want to go eat ice cream. For me, it's ice cream or chocolate. I love it. Okay. But what I have found is good ways to mitigate that is, number one, I try to recruit, right? So I've recruited all of my kids and all of my, family, my household into clean eating. So everyone in the house, by and large, eats clean. I'd say my house is probably 80% clean, non-GMO, organic, non-ultra processed. I'd say we're at that. It took me about 2.5, 3 years, but now my kids, they won't even eat nasty stuff. Like, they'll eat Pringles here and there. They've got their things here and there, but that has helped a lot because having kids, I have a lot of them. It's so easy to fall off the wagon because you're going to eat what they're eating.
Yeah. Pizza, it's all around
all this crap. Yeah. It's all around you. So recruiting my kids into clean, healthy eating was probably one of the best things I did. And it shows it. I mean, my kids, I'm not trying to be biased. I'm not looking at it. My kids, I'm so thankful because I look at them and I go, dang, my kids are way stout. They're way healthy because the diet's clean. That was number one. Number two is I try to encourage, or I try to make things at home now instead. So for example, I like cookies, right? I love cookies. I want to eat cookies. So now instead of me eating cookies, I know I can make chocolate chip cookies at home with organic, unbleached, non-GMO, rice flour, or
you can
bread
use
flour.
Monk fruit or honey.
Even at that, I'll use organic cane sugar or organic brown sugar. So I try to get the ingredients, even though there's sugar in it.
Eat what you enjoy, but you know that at least it's clean and organic. Yeah, that's good.
So for example, you can make a homemade chocolate chip cookie will just absolutely knock your socks off with 1, 2, organic, unbleached, unprocessed bread flour, organic dark chocolate chips, non-GMO. Everything's organic, non-GMO. Organic vanilla extract, organic grass-fed butter, organic organic cane sugar, not white sugar, organic cane sugar is a little brown, right? And then organic brown sugar, some organic nutmeg, 5, 7 ingredients, and they're all organic, non-GMO, and you know where they all came from. And
what I like what I like about that is that by making it from scratch, you have to really want it, and you're not taking the lazy way to go and eat it. So if you really want it that bad, it's like, okay, the rule is if I want it that bad, I've got to make it from scratch. And that's what I say, Len, when I say incorporating things into your lifestyle, because not only am I getting a chance to cheat and eat a chocolate chip cookie or a brownie or an apple pie, which is what I love because I love desserts like that, but I know I'm figuring out in my head how to make it. Yeah. So not only that, I'm growing in an area where I now am culinary because I know how to make my own desserts and my own food. And what do you have? You probably have a list there. Those are all different foods that I enjoy that are all like organic and also made from scratch, but it's foods that I like to eat, but made in a healthy way. So like it might be a cookie that incorporates, a certain type of protein powder, or, made with berries and raspberries with cheesecake. So you've got, the cottage cheese and, all of that stuff. And so, I still enjoy eating. I love eating, but I also want to make sure that I put good things in my body. And so, so I agree with all of that. So Chris.
And if I'm going to eat fast food, I only eat one fast food, and it's In-N-Out, and that's it.
Okay.
It's the best quality fast food. So if I'm going to eat fast, I will not eat fast food, Len. I'll only eat In-N-Out. That's my only fast food cheat. So I get it. I understand too. In-N-Out, I mean, because In-N-Out is all controlled supply chain, local. Yeah. Like In-N-Out is the cleanest you can get if you're going to eat.
Is it fast food?
Yeah, the only gripe I have with In-N-Out is they still use sunflower oil, and that's a seed oil. So, and that's a big hack too. If you're looking for simple things to do, you put that video you show me. It's just they're so easy. Don't eat seed oils.
Yes,
just stop eating seed oils. So with that, I know, Len, we can go on and on. We're out of time.
No doubt. It's been good, man.
Close us out.
So look, the whole idea of this channel is we want you to get value. We want you to think. We want you to be critical. And you can also be critical of the thoughts and opinions we have, because we don't proclaim to be journalists. We're just simply two business owners that have different political views and different points of view. And we also, have things in common too, because as we get to know each other and we look past our differences, we know that what we have in common is our love for Christ. We also have in common our love for family. And we also have in common that we want to be longevity biohackers that live a good quality, vivacious, life with vitality. And so we can come together on that. And when we disagree, we can be respectful of our disagreements and still hear each other's point of view and really get value from each other. And so if that's something you value, definitely give us a like, subscribe, comment, interact. And we look forward to continue to bring you good content and good value. Chris, it's always been great, man. Anything that you want to say in closing?
Nope. Respect to you, Len. Have a phenomenal week, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Have a good one, sir.
Take care.
Conversation has given you clarity on your next steps. Please share this episode with someone who's walking the same path. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss future episodes. And remember, planning ahead isn't just prudent, it's an act of care. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on The Family Office.